The name of Moors, which is used in Europe but not in Africa, applied chiefly to the inhabitants of the state of Barbary, used in Europe and not Africa. 1829, okay? Now we're going to use that to prove how this Negro in 1740 something being put together in classrooms and mission schools with these Indians is going to be shown to be Negroes from Europe and not from Africa or anywhere else. Because a Moor is a Negro is a Moor. Okay, let me show you. Now we're going to go through a series of dictionaries from different time periods. Now here's one that says a Moor, a tract of land, blah, 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 low grounds. But what do you see here? A Negro, a blackamoor, a Negro. So if it says a Negro is a Moor, and a Moor was chiefly applied to those in Europe and not Africa, then that means these are the ones that they're talking about when they say they're going to put the Negro and Indian slaves together, and that they're purchasing some country-born Negro and not an Indian. They're purchasing a European melanated person for the purposes of spreading the Bible. But when you go up here, it says another dictionary, Negro, it says what? Zwart, like swarthy, Moor. Okay, a Negro is a Moor, and a Moor is a Negro. And Niger, the original Latin or whatever of Negro. Moor, if Moor and Negro are one and the same, that means when it says Negro and Indian children going together to these schools in the parish, they're talking about in 1743 putting Negroes or European Moors together with melanated Indians, not no red folks. Now let's look at the definition for swarthy or zwart. Okay, a dark hue, a dusky complexion, warm climates. The complexion of men is usually in warm climates is swarthy and black. Okay, Moors, Spaniards, and people be trying to say that it literally says warm climates, and people be trying to say like, well, Spaniards are a little bit more, like today's YTs be like they're a little bit more pale, not as pale as shut up, as like a Scotland person or something. Those people are crazy. But either way, like if you came under like these surnames like Dunn, and Dunn shows of a brown complexion, of a dark color pertaining to brown and black, of a dark color. Swarthy, okay? Brown, black, swarthy, not pale white, swarthy, okay? But also it says the word Moor here, used as an example. Another old dictionary, English to Dutch translation dictionary, really old. A Moor is a blackamoor, zwart, tawny, woman Moor, okay? So we know what a Moor is. And just to beat the nail in even further, a blackamoor, which was listed, is a Negro, a black man, okay? A Moor is a European only until a certain time. It's in the 1850s when you see a change to Moor, where they start adding in this stuff saying a native of the northern coast of Africa, called by the Romans a color pertaining to Mauritania of a dark complexion, people the same color is now called Morocco, Tunisia, blah, 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 right? But why did it change? You got to ask that. In the 1850s, when a lot of other stuff changed. That's when they tried to take away the Indians and call us Africans. Notice they're saying that they're calling the Moors Africans too. They're Africanizing everybody, okay? They're Africanizing us. They're Africanizing the European blacks, and they're Africanizing the black Negroes in America, because when you look up that under the word black, it starts to say this too. But I can't lie though, I did find in the 1735 dictionary a Moor that said that it was a native of Mauritania in Africa. So there seems to be some confusion or purposeful delay of when somebody started calling Moors Africans, or when Mauritania may have started. I hadn't even looked into when Mauritania was established. Let me look. which is kind of odd. Like, if you look up Mauritania when it was founded, it says 1960. But if you go a little bit further, you start getting stuff like this, talking about 7th century AD, from the 3rd to the 7th century AD. I guess maybe it was that stopped. I'm not here for the whole Moor or whatever thing. My point is to prove that the Negroes that were put with the Indians at that time, more so than likely based upon a preponderance of evidence, hard evidence, sources, that they were melanated Europeans and not Africans, and they are the ones who they try to mix us with, which is why a lot of people say you got a European in your blood. But they don't. They want you to think it was all YTs, and in many cases, those YTs came over from Ellis Island and took those people's names. But that's another story. But back in the day, you also had. I think I just showed this. Hold on. Wanted to show you how black, for a while, only meant some of a color, pretty much, of a color of night, dark, cloudy, countenance, sullen, horrible, black, dismal, mournful. But at some point, it also used to mean bleach, white, pale, all this other stuff, the etymology of it. And then eventually they start adding in all this African language under Negro and black in the 1850s also. So you notice that you will see a lot of people trying to Africanize both the European Moors as well as the Indians or the Africans. Well, the Africans are already that, but they're trying to Africanize us too, the American Indians. So really what I meant. They're trying to Africanize anybody of a dark skin around is basically what's going on around this time. And I think, don't know if I showed it, but also in this Library of Congress, I did this video twice because the app messed up. But giving it into the war with the Moors who reigned in Europe in 1492. Okay, so this is Library of Congress, Christopher Columbus's first voyage up here. All right, so we know for sure that Moors, as we come back to this newspaper here, the name Moors, which was used in Europe but not in Africa, is applied chiefly to the inhabitants of Barbary. These are not a single race, but derive their origins from various sources. They are a mixture of the ancient Mauritanians. So if they say Mauritanians, but notice this is spelled M-A-U-R, the other one's M-O-O-R. Look, that's why I'm just like, look, I don't even want to go back and forth because I don't know when they start doing all that confusion, and then you got the MERS. I don't even care. And I do care. At some point, I'm going to get to it. And the Namibians, the Vandals, and the north are the Saracens, the Turks, and the east are the Berbers, the old inhabitants driven back, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, from what it shows, it makes you think it's all North Africa, but why would it say that when it was chiefly tied to the Europeans? But the main thing I wanted to do was use it as another piece of further proof that the Negro that they're speaking of here is not African. More likely so gonna be a Moor from Europe placed in with us who were prisoners of war in some areas. Okay, this is South Carolina, 13 colonies area. Okay, South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere. And don't forget, I told you all there's the Book of Negroes. That was 3,000 Negroes who were shipped back to Europe, or a lot of them to Nova Scotia, but they were Negroes from Europe. They got shipped off in 1789, which means the Negroes in 1748 that they're talking about going to be with the Negro and Indian children of the parish as they get their education at these mission schools in 1743, which is 40 years before those people who were called Book of the Negroes, 3,000 Negroes who are here in America. That's before they get shipped off. Okay, 40 years before they get shipped off. So who's here? Who's the Negro? Who's the Moor? Who are the people? Are these Africans they're putting in with red Indians? Or are they black people from Europe they're putting in with black people from America and saying, you niggas look alike, you niggas is the same. Later on, we're going to call you some Africans. We just doing this. We don't know what to do. We just doing whatever we can do. We just making it up as we go along. That's what they did. And that's how you can catch these people, because there's so much proof out there. But you got to find it. That's why I'm out here, because they be playing.